Imagine living your entire life in a world where every decision was made for you: who to love, what to believe, how to think. Then one day you realize it's all a lie based on fear and control. What would you do? Would you have the courage to walk away? You ready? Let's get into it. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something deeply personal, yet I know many of you will relate to this journey. I want to explore the parallels between the Exodus story from the Bible and our own Exodus from the Watchtower organization, or some other high control group if you never were in the Watchtower. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I heard the Exodus story countless times. We studied it in our literature, at meetings, and family worship. But it's ironic that I never actually saw myself in that story until after I left. Sometimes the most powerful truths are hiding in plain sight. Think about the Israelites for a moment. They were born into slavery in Egypt. They didn't choose that life, it was all they knew. For generations, their identity was shaped by their captivity. The Egyptian system wasn't just their physical reality, it was their entire worldview. Sound familiar? Those of us born into the Watchtower organization didn't choose it either. From our first breath, we were immersed in a system that defined every aspect of our existence. Our friends were chosen for us. Our education was limited. Our futures were predetermined. Even our thoughts were carefully monitored and controlled. Like the Israelites, we weren't just physically restricted, we were mentally enslaved. We didn't know any other way to live. The boundaries of our world ended at the edge of the organization's teachings. Anything beyond that was worldly, dangerous, and to be feared. Remember how the Pharaoh kept the Israelites busy making bricks? The busier they were, the less time they had to question their situation. The Watchtower does exactly the same thing. Meetings, field service, personal study, family worship, circuit assemblies, conventions, every moment is accounted for. There's no time to sit quietly with your own thoughts, to question, to explore. But then, like Moses, something or someone enters our lives that makes us see our situation for what it really is. For Moses, it was the burning bush, a moment of clarity that revealed his purpose. For us, might be different things: contradictions in the teachings, seeing the damage of shunning, realizing the prophetic failures, or maybe just meeting genuinely good worldly people who don't fit the demonic caricature we were taught to fear. Whatever it is, there comes a moment when we can no longer unsee the truth. The organization wasn't protecting us, it was controlling us. The truth wasn't the truth at all. And hardest of all, our beloved community wasn't built on love, but conditional acceptance. That was our burning bush moment. Unlike Moses, we faced a choice: ignore what we've seen and continue in captivity, or answer the call to freedom, not just for ourselves, but potentially for others we love. Now, approaching the elders or our in family with our doubts is a lot like Moses approaching Pharaoh saying, "Let my people go." The response is predictably harsh: more restrictions, more guilt, more fear mongering. Who has been filling your head with apostate ideas? Have you been looking at apostate websites? The Pharaoh of our day doesn't want to lose his laborers either. And here's where it gets really difficult. Leaving the organization was our Red Sea moment. Behind us were the advancing armies of guilt, shame, and fear that the organization programmed into us. Ahead was an unknown wilderness that we've been taught all our lives was filled with dangers, demons, and certain death. We stand at the shore, terrified to go forward, unable to go back. I remember standing there myself. I'd woken up to the doctrinal problems, the failed prophecies, the harmful policies, but I still had my family, my friends, my entire social network inside. Taking that step meant potentially losing everyone I love. And you know what? I did lose most of them. The organization makes sure of that through their shunning policy. It's their most effective control mechanism. They hold your loved ones hostage to keep you in line. It's spiritual blackmail, plain and simple. But here's what I want you to know: there is life on the other side of the Red Sea. The waters do part. You can walk through. Is it easy? Absolutely not. The Israelites didn't immediately enter the promised land. They had to wander in the wilderness first. And our journey after leaving is a wilderness too. You have to rebuild your entire identity. You have to learn how to think critically after a lifetime of being told what to think. You have to figure out your own moral compass after having every decision made for you. You have to build a new community from scratch. There will be moments, like the Israelites, when you long for the certainty of Egypt. At least we had food there, they complained. At least we knew what was expected of us. Freedom is terrifying when you've never had it before. I experienced this myself. There were nights I'd lay awake, panic stricken, thinking, what if they're right? What if I've left the truth and now I'm going to die at Armageddon? Those fears don't disappear overnight. The organization made sure to plant them deep in our psyche. There were days I missed the community, flawed as it was. I missed the sense of belonging, of having a place in the world, of having all the answers. In the wilderness, you got to get comfortable with uncertainty, with saying, I don't know, something witnesses are never allowed to say. But here's where our story diverges from the Israelites in a beautiful way. They wandered for 40 years because they kept doubting, kept wanting to go back. But we have advantages they didn't. We have the internet, connecting us with others who have made this journey before us. We have resources, books, support groups. We have therapists who understand religious trauma. We don't have to wander for decades. And just like the Israelites had manna in the wilderness, you'll find sustenance along the way that you never expected. For me, it was discovering a love for philosophy and science, real science, not that trademark stuff of today, things that were suppressed in the Watchtower. It was forming authentic friendships based on genuine connection rather than shared doctrine. It was experiencing unconditional love for the first time, love that doesn't depend on my beliefs or meeting someone else's standards. It was reading the Bible for the first time with fresh eyes outside of the Watchtower lens. Remember how the organization taught us that worldly people were selfish, immoral, and under Satan's control? That narrative falls apart when you actually get to know people outside. Sure, there are some bad people out there, just as there are bad people in the organization. But I've found more genuine compassion, authenticity, and moral courage in the world than I ever saw inside the organization. One of the most healing realizations for me was discovering that I wasn't crazy or wicked for having doubts. The organization gaslights us into believing that our legitimate questions come from a wicked heart or from satanic influences. But the truth is, those doubts come from our inherent sense of justice and truth. They come from the best parts of us, not the worst. Now, I want to talk about something painful but necessary: the losses. Not everyone made it out of Egypt. Not everyone crossed the Red Sea. The Exodus story doesn't sugarcoat this reality, and neither will I. You'll likely lose family members who choose to remain. You'll likely lose lifelong friends. You may even lose a spouse if they can't accept your change in beliefs. These losses are real and devastating, and I'd be lying if I said that they don't hurt for a long time. But I want you to know that grief is a natural part of this journey. It's not a sign that you made the wrong choice. It's the price of freedom. And while we never stop missing the people we've lost to the organization, we do learn to build new connections, new families of choice, new support systems that are actually healthier than what we left behind. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, people who initially shunned you might eventually follow your path. Your exodus might inspire theirs. Your courage might give them permission to examine their own doubts. You might be their Moses, their burning bush moment. I've seen this happen in my own life, and it's one of the most rewarding experiences possible. Now, let's talk about the promised land, because that's where this analogy gets really powerful. For the Israelites, the promised land was a physical place. For us, it's a state of being. It's mental and emotional freedom. It's living authentically for the first time. The promised land is waking up in the morning and not feeling guilt for simply being human. It's making decisions based on your own conscience, not fear of judgment. It's celebrating holidays if you want to, or not if you don't. It's wearing what you want, watching what you want, loving who you want to love. The promised land is discovering passions and talents that were suppressed in the organization. It's pursuing education without limits. It's engaging in art, literature, philosophy, science, all the rich aspects of human culture that were labeled worldly and dangerous. And yes, spirituality. The promised land is finding spirituality on your own terms. For some, that might mean embracing a different faith tradition. For others, it might mean agnosticism or atheism. There's no single right path after leaving. That's the whole point of freedom. Your spiritual journey belongs to you now, not to an organization, and I'm not judging you for it. The promised land is developing real critical thinking skills. It's evaluating information based on evidence, not authority. It's being able to say, I was wrong without shame. It's changing your mind when new information comes to light. It's intellectual honesty and curiosity. The promised land is healing from religious trauma. It's working through anxiety, depression, the PTSD that a lot of people have after leaving a high control religion, a cult. It's finding therapists who understand, support groups who validate your experience, books that help you make sense of what happened. But most importantly, the promised land is living with integrity, aligning your outer life with your inner life for the first time, refusing to pretend anymore. It's standing in your authenticity, even when it costs you. It's the profound self respect that comes from honoring your own conscience. I've been in this promised land for years now, and I can tell you that while it's not perfect, no place is, it's infinitely better than Egypt. The price was high, the losses were real, the journey was difficult, but I would make that same choice again 1,000 times over. Freedom is worth it. Truth is worth it. Authentic life is worth it. You are worth it. So if you're standing at the Red Sea right now, terrified to take that step, know that there are thousands of us on the other side, ready to welcome you. We've made this journey. We understand what you're going through in a way that no one else can. And if you've already left but find yourself struggling in the wilderness, don't lose heart. Keep going. The wilderness is not your final destination. Every step you take away from Egypt is a step toward freedom, toward wholeness, toward your authentic self. The irony of all this is that the organization taught us to venerate the Exodus story while creating a system that mirrors Egyptian slavery in so many ways. They taught us to admire Moses' courage while punishing anyone who showed the same courage in questioning their authority. But now we can reclaim that story. We are the Israelites, choosing freedom over comfortable captivity. We are Moses, standing up to Pharaoh despite our fear. We are the ones walking through the parted sea on dry ground, while the armies of control and manipulation are washed away behind us. And like the biblical Exodus, which was led by God according to the story, our Exodus is also led by faith. And just like with the Israelites, it takes courage, integrity, and commitment to truth. Hey, you think the Israelites weren't scared? You think nobody had doubts? Of course they were, and of course they did, just like us. That makes it even more remarkable, even more worthy of celebration. So here's my message to you today. Wherever you are in this journey, still in Egypt, standing at the Red Sea, wandering in the wilderness, or enjoying the promised land, know that you are not alone. Your story matters. Your courage matters. Your freedom matters. The organization tried to convince us that leaving meant certain death, but we didn't die. We finally started to live, really live for the first time. And that's the greatest refutation of their fearful warnings. So keep going, keep healing, keep growing. The journey continues and it gets better with each step you take in freedom. Thank you for listening to my story today. If it resonates with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Let's be each other's burning bush, each other's parted sea, each other's manna in the wilderness. Yeah, the truth will set you free, but not the truth they taught us, the real truth, that you deserve freedom, authenticity, and unconditional love, just as you are. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel for more discussions like this. If you want to support my work directly, click the join button below. and I'll catch you in the next video.